Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, the 12th of May, 2022. Welcome to Hindsight. We haven't done one of these in quite some time, and no, it's not because ASX is targeting finfluencers, and I certainly don't consider myself a finfluencer, because if you take my content as financial advice, you're pretty fucking brain dead. No, it's because I've just had a lot of issues piling up all at once, mostly health related, and really I've been focusing on the markets as well, where I am healthy, so I kind of take the time to do that. And hopefully I want to create more content in the future, more frequently. Otherwise, guys, we're going to be looking at a unusual stock today, and that's GAL. But before we do that, I just want you to do one thing for me, and that is just look into my eyes. Oh yeah. Feel that, don't you? It's getting a bit uncomfortable. Because, oh lordy, that's what it's been feeling like in the markets for the last 2 weeks. Oh lordy, I've been getting reamed. God, do you know what it's like to take it without lube? Well, you do now. The last couple of weeks have been a bit fucking rough on the ASX, and really, the reality is April is the best month for speckies. It's just like... It's like Christmas and retail stores, right? They just go hand in hand. They make so much profit at that month in December, and April is kind of the same for speculative stocks. Anything under 100 mil tends to just rally. Any good news and things just pop off. So April's really hot, and there's a phrase that comes around that's sell in May and walk away. So that tends to come about because liquidity sort of tapers off, and then May, June, July is a bit awkward because of end of financial year. Tends to be more incentive towards selling, especially around the sort of micro cap space. And I'm going to show you guys something a little bit peculiar, and that is the stock ticker GAL. Both in the fact that it's gapped up. I think that was a 200% gap up, so from 20 cents roughly to 66 was the gap up. So if we bring it up on the 1 minute chart, and what we have is just one of the most peculiar trades in May, and that's because May typically doesn't have multi-baggers, and this one I guess kind of gapped up as a multi-bagger. You couldn't really take it from 22 cents to 60, so it kind of just did a big gap up, but it's still unusual. I've never really seen anything like this. So before we get into the actual charts, let's just take a look at the actual announcement and see why it's so, I guess, unremarkable. We've got 33 meters at 2 grams a ton 3E. Now, I've never seen 3E before. I'm assuming that's like an equivalent. Here it says 3E equals palladium plus platinum plus gold. So 3E, whatever that is. We've got 1.6 grams a ton of palladium. Well, sorry, is that platinum and palladium? That's palladium. And then we have fuck all in terms of platinum. And then basically nothing. I could probably piss out more grams a ton of gold than what's in here. So this big hit at 33 meters is pretty unremarkable in every sense, right? We've got a company that was already around 33 mil market cap, and it gapped up to about 100, give or take a few million market cap. So that in itself is pretty fucking wild. I haven't seen anything like it, especially on results that just aren't that interesting. Now, I've gone through this. It's 19 pages long. I've gone through it. I don't know what's so exciting about it. If you guys have spotted something that's really interesting that I'm just clearly missing, I'd love to know about it. But, you know, they've already had assays done before, and you can see the results here just aren't that special. And then the new results that we've gotten just aren't that special either. So it begs the question, why did this move? Now that I don't have an answer for. All I know is that the trading was very standard pump and dump sort of feel to it, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So what we have is an open. I took the match on open because for me, when I looked at the announcement, and we're talking fuck all shares. There wasn't that much available. It might have been just a few thousand, which really you can't make too much money off going short on this because the borrow just wasn't there. There wasn't enough available. So I took what I could get, and it was like a few hundred shares on match, and then after it matched, got the extra shares. So effectively got it around 66 cents. Wrote it down, and it was very interesting, this aspect here where it started to grind and grind and grind. Now, we've seen this time and time again, especially on pretty significant volume. When this happens in the order book, you can see the churn, right? The bids keep restacking, trying to build confidence for the stock to flip and reverse and head back to the upside to create another momentum swing. But instead what happened was it just a single line wipe and then restack the bid, and then another line wipe on the offer, restack the bid, and just rinse and repeat. And this sort of stuff we saw quite a lot late last year. This was just rug pull, just classic rug pull stuff. And you can see what I mean here. And look at the liquidity that took it down, or the volumes that took it down. Basically nothing. And you've got this much volume churning at the same levels here. So you got how many? That's 500,000, 300K, 300K, 300K. You got so much volume churning at the price range between 53.5 to 57. And then all of a sudden, all in one hit, down to from 57 to 53. So that entire range, that entire price range, smacked down by this little candle here. And that's 285,000 in volume. So you can tell just by looking at this what the order book might have looked like, right? Restack bid, restack bid, restack bid, big churns. And my assumption is these restacked bids are just selling one tick above in smaller chunks, and they're trying to build that momentum and churn. And what happens is they just stop reloading the bid, and then you just have a pretty big order go in and smack down the price. And there you go, there's your first rug pull. Now, my rule for rug pull stocks, or when I witness a rug pull, is that they never, or this is a rule that I have, it's not solidified in any way, it's not 100%, it's just 90% of the time that when you witness a rug pull, that the stock will never go back above that point for the day, right? So you got a rug pull, you can see the rug pull happens again here, and then it sort of goes sideways here, and then we just start to have high volume selling. And then same sort of thing, we kind of just have a little grind up and then get smacked by higher volumes. And you can see it kind of creates this little step ladder effect, and usually it's more prominent. It's more like this that you see the rug pulls, the kind of sell price action. And what was interesting about this is after the first day, we can see the rug pulls actually stopped around here. At least there was high volumes, but it didn't really push the price down that far. So it started to level off here. Didn't feel comfortable. I certainly would never have really taken a long. But the most bizarre thing is that it just didn't have a pullback. It just kept rallying. And you can see the volumes, they started to get higher and higher. And I was really kind of just watching it in and out, and just watching where's the rug pull going to happen. And then you see VWAP get hit as well, which is the green dotted line here. And I thought for sure by VWAP this would get smacked down. So around here, you can see there's a little bit of resistance there. A little bit of resistance, comes back and just pops right through it. So to me, this was just one of the most unusual trades I've ever seen in quite some time. And you can see it ends near the high here, around the highs. Close enough, didn't make new highs, but just very, very fascinating price action to go from rug pull after rug pull after rug pull, clearly manipulated order book, into just a straight up pop and rally. It's just fascinating to see. And then today, I took the match because these kinds of stocks kind of remind me of BRN a little bit. They've kind of got this feel about them. When they open up on the second day play, they tend to gap down, and then it's just like, well, if the sell pressure comes in the first 2-3 minutes, then stay the fuck away. I'm not going to touch it. But if it doesn't, then just add on, and then just get back to this level here. That's all it was. It was just a real straightforward, simple trade. Again, my rule when trading in May and June, July is take what I can get and run. It's not like April. April is just so hot of a month for specky stocks. But I find that I really got to take control of the trade and recognize that I can't hold on to this and just hope it goes to $1 or something like that, right? That's April shit. This is May, and really got to just take profits where I can. And ended up getting a little bit short as well. Where was it? At this double top here. Again, we're talking like 500 shares. I mean, I tried to get much more. Obviously, with 500 shares, you can't really do anything. You make a few bucks. But, you know, you can't put any sizable trade on like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 shares or anything like that. Anything of significance. I just couldn't get it. There just wasn't enough borrow. But it was really nice. A lot of the guys in Discord traded it all the way up until this level here, basically looking for a double top and just not getting too greedy. I mean, yeah, look, it goes a little bit above it, but who's buying into that shit? Ultimately, the one thing that kept us from, I guess, over trading this one, or, you know, just believing that it's going to pop and rally, is ultimately coming back to the announcement. And that's what's in there. What's in that fucking announcement? Nothing. It's empty. It's bland. The stock, in my opinion, should never have moved. Again, if you guys see something that I didn't see in that announcement, I'd love to hear of it, but I still haven't found anything. And then, of course, it ends up in this exact same step pattern that I was talking about, and that is just building the bids, pulling the liquidity from the bid side, and tanking it with as much volume as possible. Rinse and repeat. And that's all she wrote. Now, it's very unusual because in the first instance, this rug pull that was happening didn't continue. And the fact that it rallied is extremely unusual. We've never seen anything quite like it. Normally we see stocks that, let's say, for example, they go up, 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 and then they have rug pulls, and maybe go to VWAP, and then they, because there's some substance to the actual trade, because of the fundamentals of the news announcement, they just end up rallying anyway, despite the rug pulls. So that's one instance of that actually happening, and that's probably about like a 5% likelihood of ever seeing that. Because most of the time, 90-95% of the time, rug pulls are just dead. They just kill the stock completely. And you end up with things like this just all day long. So it was nice to take a bit of a short. And yeah, that's really it. I mean, I'd like to hear your opinion on GAL, see how you guys traded it, see if you guys thought it was as unusual as I did. Otherwise, guys, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.